The gaming mouse market is a saturated market. You've got Razer, you've got SteelSeries, Mionix, Corsair, and then you've got Logitech. This is the G502, which when it was released had a lot of hype around it because it's got this brand spanking new sensor. But it's been out for a bajillion years now, it's been updated. So how does it perform in 2017? Does it stand out from the crowd still, or is it just another boring old gaming mouse? Well, you gotta keep watching the review to find out, because I ain't telling you, that's spoilers, and I need the YouTube watch time, man. First though, I'd like to clarify that this is the Proteus core, not the Proteus Spectrum, but both the mice are the same, so my opinions can be applied to the Proteus Spectrum. The only differences between the Proteus Spectrum and the Proteus core is that the Proteus Spectrum has RGB, which I cannot comment on because I don't have it, and the Proteus Spectrum is completely all black. So if you're goth, then go with the Proteus Spectrum. But anyway, let's continue with the review, because the Proteus core review is still relevant to people looking to get the Proteus Spectrum. As always, we start off with the design. It's got this stylistic gamer aesthetic going on, which may annoy some, but I'm okay with, because most of the time you're looking at the mouse, it's in your hand, you won't be looking at the design that much. So I have no qualms with the G502's gamer style, and although it may look very complicated, it's actually a pretty simple shape mouse overall. If you look at it from a distance, you realize that it's generally a pretty basic design, which I think is good. Overcomplicated shape mouse is just unergonomic and uncomfortable. This one does pretty good in that department. Up top you find the left and right clicks, the scroll wheel that clicks left and right and downwards, and a bunch of other buttons, as well as Logitech gaming logo that lights up blue or RGB, depending on whether you get the Proteus core or the Proteus Spectrum respectively. Behind the scroll wheel you find a lock for the infinite scroll feature, which is super handy for long document scrolling, by the way, or Microsoft Excel. I really like it more than middle click, as a matter of fact. And a button which is by the default the DPI switcher. It's reprogrammable, but I'll talk more about the reprogramming software in a bit. On the left of the left click you also find two little reprogrammable buttons that can be set as macros, but by default it is back and forward in your web browser. On the right you find a very nicely textured rubber grip, more texture than the deathadder chroma, which is nice. And on the left, more of that nice thumb grip, a thumb rest, two macro buttons, a DPI lighting indicator, and a large thumb button. The thumb rest has a little blue kind of tip, which may annoy you because it may be the wrong color for your setup, but if you're that annoyed, just get spray paint and sandpaper and you can spray paint it. It's plastic. Or you can just pay up and get the Proteus Spectrum, which also comes with RGB LED lighting. On the front, the cable is attached here. It's not detachable, but it is pretty okay. It's thick, it's braided, and it's of a decent length. However, the braiding does fray quite a bit after a while, as you can see from my mouse in the B-roll. So the braiding is kind of but it's a very thick mouse cable, so do take note if you were to use this mouse, you've got to make space for that long and thick and wide and sizable cable. Okay, the cable terminates in a simple USB connector, no gold plating here that's gimmicky. I like that. Kind of nice because they don't waste time doing gimmicky marketing ready kind of stuff like gold plating on USB connectors. It tells you a lot because it tells us that the mouse company Logitech is focusing on performance instead of marketing's BS, which is a good thing. Now let's move to the bottom of the mouse, where you find most of the performance oriented stuff. You find a decently sized mice feet, and you find the optical sensor, which is excellent. By the way, I've got to tell you, the optical sensor is just great. I'll talk more about the performance in a bit, but yeah, let's continue with the design. By the way, the mouse feet track nicely on mouse pad and most smooth surfaces, but rough surfaces is where it struggles, so obviously don't use this mouse on like a concrete floor, okay? Okay, you also find a cover for the area to insert your optional weights that come with the mice. These weights are simple metal pieces that are 3.6 grams each, and they come with the mice, and they can be stored in this neat little container, which I like. The cover also snaps on magnetically, is that a word? Magnetically. It snaps on by the use of magnets, which is very nice and satisfying and very simple overall, and I think that's just a great implementation. However, you probably don't want to use the weights because this mouse is not light. It comes in at 128 grams, which is going to affect your flicks if you flick your mouse really fast, and at 128 grams, it's just really heavy in my opinion. The deathadder chroma was 97 grams and I felt that the mouse was heavy already, and with these 3.6 gram weights, you probably have a mouse that's too heavy to use comfortably if you swing it around a lot, I guess. By the way, the 128 grams weight of the mouse, that's without the cable. So the G502 without the thick fat braided cable is 128 grams already, which is by no means a light thing, so it may affect your comfort. Overall, however, comfort is actually okay. Everything falls in place. All the buttons, all the grips, the curves, they really fit my hand and my grip style really well. I use a claw grip with this mouse and I have no problems using it at all. It's nice, it's ergonomic, and nothing is out of place, nothing is unergonomic. Except one thing, the scroll wheel. It's way too tall, which means it's very difficult to reach, and also it's a bit slippery because it's metal. And finally, the left and right clicks of the scroll wheel, they're super loose and easily actuated. So if I flick and I flick so hard I hit my keyboard or I hit the wall, it will vibrate the mouse so much that the left and right clicks of the scroll wheel will be activated. So if you were to flick your mouse really hard, then you would want to disable the left-right actuations on the scroll wheel. Something to take note of. But overall, it's just a comfortable mouse to use, apart from those little bit of issues here and there. Build quality is also decent for just a bunch of plastic, so good on Logitech there. But all of that will not matter if the performance of this mouse was absolute rubbish. So you may ask, how is the performance of the mouse then? Well, pretty friggin' awesome. Inside here there was this custom sensor designed for Logitech. Pixar. They made the PMW3366 sensor for Logitech when the G502 was launched, and this sensor had so much hype around it. It's been 4 years now and it's become more and more commonplace because it's such a good sensor. So if you talk about the specs of the sensor, it's claims to be a perfect sensor with 0 acceleration, and it can go up to 12,000 dpi without any interpolation, which are just like fancy specs and stuff. But how does it actually perform? Well, to my untrained eye, it feels great. It feels like a perfect sensor. No acceleration, no weird angle snapping. Mouse liftoff is not an issue. It doesn't glitch out when I lift the mouse up. The liftoff distance can be adjusted, and you can calibrate your mouse to the mouse pad using Logitech software if you want to adjust the mouse liftoff distance. And overall, the sensor is just really good. It's responsive, it's accurate, it's consistent, it performs well, and it allows me to play well in Counterstrike and whatever game I'm playing. Overall, this sensor is just really good, and it's pretty evident why Logitech uses this sensor on pretty much all their premium high-end gaming mice nowadays, which is nice. The clicks of the left click and right click, they are also supremely excellent. They're responsive, they're crisp, they're sharp, they sound good, they sound top-notch, and they feel great as well. They're really, really nice. They're made by Omron, and it's evident that Omron knows how to make good mouse switches because they've been doing it for years and they've always been awesome. However, the middle click and the scroll wheels clicks are just mushy and kind of a bit too hard to actuate or too easy to actuate, which is just annoying. It's inconsistent and just hard to use, which is a problem if you use the middle click a lot. I don't, so that's not a problem for me. But if you use the middle click a lot for like your different applications, then you may want to consider something else for middle click, because I freaking hate it. Okay, however, the rest of the macro buttons, they are super nice, they're clicky, they're tactile, and they're responsive, just like the left and right clicks. No Omron switches there though, which is kind of unfortunate. All these buttons, however, can be reprogrammed in Logitech's Gaming G software if you want to. If you don't like the layout of the buttons, if you don't like what they programmed to, you can reprogram it in software, which is really nice. Every single button, even the DPI indicator, except the mechanical lock behind the scroll wheel, because it's a mechanical lock, not an actual button. So that's just something to take note of. Inside the software, reprogramming this stuff is super easy. You can set custom keybinds, you can set default keybinds. It's just all there. It's very intuitive. You don't need an instruction manual to use this software, and that's great. Inside the software, you can also adjust sensitivity, of course. You can set different profiles for your mouse. You can set, as I said before, lift-off distance by calibrating your mouse pad, and you can also adjust the lighting settings. If you had the Proteus Spectrum, this lighting settings will allow you to change color and change different color modes, like cycle through colors, but this is the Proteus core without RGB lighting. So what you can do with the lighting here is just turn it on and off, adjust brightness, and adjust whether it's breathing or not and what's the breathing rate like. You can also adjust the light of the DPI indicator or profile indicator. It's up to you. You can leave it always on or you can leave it always off. Everything on this is tunable and fine-tunable and just adjustable, which I think is excellent because I'm a person who likes tweaking with my stuff for max performance, and I know a lot of gamers do as well. So if you are one of those people, welcome to the club and you would like this mouse. I guess it's conclusion time then. Should you get a G502 Proteus Core Proteus Spectrum? Well, my answer is yes. If you can look past its shortcomings, the mouse is really good overall, and although it's kind of heavy and has this annoying scroll wheel, it does get my recommendation. Unless you want RGB lighting, I suggest going for the cheaper, more affordable and older Proteus Core instead of the Proteus Spectrum, because it's just a waste of money to pay extra to get the RGB lighting. Yes, they have the same MSRP, but if you shop wisely, the G502 Proteus Core is going to be cheaper than the Proteus Spectrum. By the way, if you want to buy them cheap on Amazon, they are linked in the description. Use those links. That will help out the channel a lot because those are affiliate links. Anyway, if you enjoyed the vid, do like and subscribe. If you found it helpful, also do like and subscribe. If you want to and you have the time, watch another video linked on the screen. And that's it for this video, I guess. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.